Howdy, Ags, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Number brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoor. I'm Allie Russell.
And I'm Karlina Sample.
And today we are going to continue this little summer series where we have student athletes who were originally at A&M, have graduated, some have not yet but are on their way, and are now doing some different things in life, whether that be professional, wherever life has taken them. We want to continue doing that and thought it was only right to have on Barbara Olivieri today, also known as Barbs to us, who is a former teammate of both Karlina and I, someone that we both love dearly, and she is going to be talking not only about her experience from A&M, but also about what she is doing now. So Barbs, how are you doing?
Hi guys. I'm so happy to be here. It's so cute. And I mean it's been 2 years, so
Too
it's
long.
so
I
not
know.
too long. But I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of
We're happy to
course.
have you. It's like a little reunion, a little soccer,
Little Ag
Yes.
sock reunion,
Love
union.
little table talk.
So yeah, a little maroon table talk.
that.
But for those viewing that may not know much about Barb and her background, she's from Katy, Texas, went to Tompkins High School, played
Boo.
midfield.
Rivals.
But yeah, Katy, Texas rivalry
Yeah.
between and Barb. Played midfield and forward at Texas A&M when she was there. Went to play for the Venezuelan national team and then went pro in Mexico in 2022 and is now in the NWSL playing with Houston Dash back at home for the year 2023. Round of applause, a little full circle moment for you, Barb.
Super full circle. I mean, we'll get to that, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll get
Super
there.
full
We'll get
circle.
there. We'll get there. But something we always want to start with when we have our guests is, can you kind of tell us about how you got to Texas A&M and maybe what you admired about the school? Like, just tell us about your journey on the way to becoming an Aggie.
Yeah, so I remember, well, my grandpa um is an Aggie. So he always kind of, I think that's where, well, it is where my parents when they came to the US, my grandpa was living in College Station at that time, or Bryan area. So we would like go there and kind of grew up around just that Aggie kind of vibe and seeing the stadium like Kyle Field before, and like just the whole thing. It was like I was always just surrounded by it. So when I was little, I remember like in elementary school there was a yearbook thing, and you could put kind of like what you wanted to do when you were older. And I put to be a professional soccer player and go to Texas A&M. And then
That's so
it
cute.
kind of just, yeah. And I didn't even at that point, I was like, I don't know, it's just like you never know.
Yeah.
I had no idea what that even meant. And then yeah, I mean I played club soccer, and that kind of Albion led to just finding like, the scholarship, that whole thing. And Phil and G saw me, and then I committed my freshman year of high school, and then went to A&M, and then went pro. So it was really cool. And I love my time at A&M. It was so fun. I remember it was so hard making the decision because I was like, I love it here. I have such like amazing relationships, and it was hard, but
Yeah.
I knew that, A&M prepared me for that. I was ready, and so that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Little Barbara is probably so proud of you right now.
Seriously.
I
Checking
know,
off both boxes.
Yes.
right? It's really cool.
And Barb's, obviously your time at A&M, you came in early, you graduated a semester early,
Mhm.
of course, the semester that COVID decides to hit. We all have to
Yeah.
go home. We're living at home. And when we come back, you are thrown into your freshman season looking different than Carl and I probably could ever imagine, because we had known what a normal season was like. And your career at A&M was pretty much a year and a half season long. You had your freshman year that was a year long, and then your sophomore year was one semester right after that. And for you, that's different than a lot of people's careers in college. So kind of tell us what that experience was like for you, and how that was different from what you probably expected going into playing college soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I came in, yeah, the semester early because it was just kind of how it worked out with my classes in high school. I was like, okay, I come in a semester early. I'll be, I think, in the spring. So yeah, I'll be able to do off season and then be able to, go into season. And so that was kind of what deal was. Kate Colvin also came with me early,
Oh
and
yeah,
so
how could we forget?
how can we
Yeah.
forget Miss Kate? Miss
Yes.
Kate. And so we came in together, and then yeah, March COVID, we get sent home, and it's like, okay. So that whole thing happens, and we all know that time. But
Mhm.
then coming back, so we didn't have an off season, we went straight into season,
Yeah.
and um, I mean, it was scary because I was like, I don't know, I didn't do off season, like I don't know what it's like. It's different, you know. I'm like the new uh the freshie, so it's just it was scary. But I mean, we had a really good season. Like we had a really good season. It was so much better than I could have thought. I mean, it was crazy. Going to North Carolina and winning the conference, then going to it was
Yeah,
so
I'm like, for people that
it was
don't
crazy.
know, yeah, soccer girls
Yeah.
winning the SEC that year.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we did.
Yeah.
We got our little hat.
Barb, can you dive a little bit deeper into that? Because like you said, that was like a team successful season, but even you coming in, like you said, no preseason before, like we had to wait, like I feel like a month before we could have like a real
Yeah,
practice. Remember, we had to like split up in our
that's
It
roommate
was so
practices and
weird.
stuff just to
practicing
keep
with
COVID.
masks on.
Right,
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. Like
yes,
cannot
yes,
breathe in this.
yes.
But can
so
you talk
bad.
about like what do you think made you like so motivated or like have such a successful season coming in with like no preparation, no time to mesh with the team? Like you said, like a new face on the team, maybe a little bit nervous, but like you went off that season. Did so good. I
You
think you
did.
surprised so many people, and it just talks to like the player that you are. I was like, who is this girl? But what do you think like inspired you or maybe like kept you so focused for us to have like for you to have a successful a successful season individually, but also for the team?
Well, that had to do, first of all, with the team. The team coming in was like awesome. Like we were already kind of just I didn't like I obviously felt like a freshman, like new girl, like nervous, but y'all I mean the team helped so much with that. I mean, we were just like
We
all a
all
family
clicked.
even with that, dude.
But you
We all
clicked in
clicked
really well. It's the personality,
because y'all are
Barbs.
cool. It's the person that just meshed together. So that made it honestly like easier to be able to like trust one another on the field and like um motivate everyone to be the best they could be. And I think that really like that's why we popped off that year, because as a team we really had that like, you know, camaraderie in between each other, the chemistry, and that brings the best in everyone. So I feel like that's why we succeeded so much that season, because it was we went far. I mean, we could have. I feel like we could have gone farther.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what
than we did.
about that next semester? Because that was hard. I think for our team at the time, we had just come off a whole year of playing. And
Mhm.
typically it's like we play in the fall, we have that break in the spring, and then we get back after it in the fall again. But it was so different that year. So for
Yeah.
you, coming off of that whole stretched out year-long season to then playing your sophomore year that fall, what were some differences or potentially some motivations that you have? And again, our team, for people that don't know, our team didn't perform as well that season. So we came off champions the year before. We're
Yeah.
struggling a bit more that year. So what for you were some of those motivations or things that were different in that experience? Because that was more like a normal season of college soccer.
Right. Yeah. Um. ob- Obviously, having that experience was better coming in that next season, but it was. I feel like we had that, you know, expectation of like, oh, we're gonna kill it next season, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of, you know, bit us a little bit in the back afterwards. But I we had I think the 5 freshmen that came in that
Yeah.
season too, and I mean like I remember we had a good off season. We prepared well. It was just kind of that it happens. Like it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen. And I think we still did good to, you know, fight until the end. And um but I don't know. I mean, I can't even really remember how that even was. Like
It's far. It's
It
crazy.
was a while ago.
Yeah.
I remember being like mentally tired because like COVID season, being in the fall and in the spring, like we had to be so locked in just to play in the fall, and
There
then
was
like
no break.
over Christmas break to continue playing in the spring. Then we only got like 1 month off before we had to go back to school and prepare for the next fall season. Right? So like, I don't know, like you.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I think I got injured oh my God, that was so scary. I got injured for a little bit, I think a month. Thankfully, it wasn't anything bad, but that was like my first like scary injury. But I mean, the program did so well. I mean, I can't even imagine how fast I came back from that because it was scary. But yeah, I agree. It was really mentally stressful, and it was just a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot of traveling too, like with exams and
it was a ton.
It was tough.
Did you feel, before we go to commercial, did you feel like, because after that COVID season was when you decided to go professional, right? So after we had like such a successful COVID year, then we like complete opposite, kind of did a little bit of flip, 2 steps back that next season. Was there any like hesitation or nerves like that made you, I don't know, maybe question yourself, or that was just going through your head when trying to decide whether to stay or go or take the opportunity to go play in Venezuela?
Yeah. I guess it wasn't like my make or break point at all. I don't think that's like what it was, but it was like frustrating just from a athlete standpoint, like for everyone. We were just like, how does this even happen from one extreme to the other? But I feel like it's good to go through that, because then you like learn what not to do. Like there were a lot of things that I feel like we all could have done different so it's like you learn from that. But even then, like I wouldn't say that's like why I left or anything, but it like the opportunity presented itself so quickly. Like I mean, I made that decision in literally like a week, and it was just it was a lot, but there's a lot to think about too.
A week? Oh my!
I know.
It was a week.
We were talking about that before. We're like, I don't even know if we knew that decision process. Because
it was super fast.
Yeah,
it was extremely.
So did they reach out to you?
Yeah, so I had like, because I think that's when the NIL stuff came out, and then you could get like an agent or something. So the agent, my current agent, became my agent at that time, and he kind of found like that opportunity was presented it, and I had to like make it or take it, because there was a player that was going to sign for them that was a foreigner. So, but then her visa got like declined or something. So that spot was like, it's now or never. So that's kind of what it was.
So you're on a time crunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if any of us ever realized how fast you had to make that decision.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I know.
That's crazy.
It was weird.
That's so crazy.
It was really weird.
That's different. Yeah. Well, we missed you at A&M, but now I'm glad that you made it. Like you've been doing
so good.
I don't regret it at all, but
I'm glad.
It was hard at the time.
Yeah.
Because it's just like it's your group, and I had 2 more years of like college life, right? All that stuff, and thinking about how I'm going to do classes. That was another thing. And yeah. Well, I remember the meeting when I said I was leaving. It was horrible.
Oh
that
gosh,
was so sad. I hated that. I hated every second of that.
The team announcements are always like when someone walks up in front of the team, it's like, okay, there's only 2 things that can happen here. They're trying to be motivational, or they're telling us that they're gone. Like there's
that story that they're leaving.
Yeah. There's no in between.
Horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
That was such a vulnerable moment. Oh my goodness.
It was. I don't think I'd seen you cry before then. I was like,
yeah.
But
our little
it paid off. It all paid off though.
It did for sure.
Okay, well, we are going to take a quick commercial break now to hear from our sponsors. And when we get back, we're going to hear more about Barbara and her post A&M/Aggie life now, and then NWSL and her past experiences before then.
welcome back from our commercial break. We are going to go ahead and jump right back in and talk now about Barb's transition after leaving A&M. So Barb, you ended up in Mexico. You were in a completely different country. You were away from Katy, Texas, away from your family. Let's talk about what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, well, like I said, like it was really quick, the decision. So it didn't hit until like I went. And I think I had about a week to kind of like find a place and move in and stuff. And my mom wanted me, thank God, for that like week and like help me out. But I remember it hitting like when I was there because I was like, oh, like Spanish is like, that's like now like the norm. Like it was like a switch. It was like weird. And it was gorgeous though. I mean, I remember getting there, like mountains, like really, really pretty. But then I remember the first practice, I think it was the day after I got there, like we had our first practice, and literally it was like a bus 30 minutes out into like what looks like, I don't know, like ranch vibes. And then we went up, like it's up a mountain, so we just go up a mountain, and that's where kind of the whole practice facility was. And it was just like so, I was like, where am I going? And it was like 6 a.m. Like,
did you
I don't
have
know,
to do that
like,
every
what's
day?
happening? Every day, yeah. So they had like a team bus, and so we went to the
Wow.
bus stop, and they would take us. Yeah, because it was far. I mean, it was like 30 minutes,
That's
and then you go up a
crazy.
mountain.
Barb's like,
Like, that's
where am
not
I? What did
normal.
I sign up for?
I know. I'm like, whoa,
That
because
is so
that's like
funny.
not a thing, like not a thing, like at all here. Like, there's no type of like elevation or mountains or like
No.
nothing. So it was just weird. And then, but it was gorgeous. Like I remember, like it was just so different, and it was cool. I think we had off season, or no, I got there actually in season, and so I mean, yeah, first practice, just kind of getting to know the team and speaking. It was just so funny because also I speak Spanish, but like the Venezuelan, and so they speak like my, so like the different words weren't understood. It was just, it was funny because they were like, "What?" And I was like, "What do you mean, what? Like Spanish?"
You're like, do you not get it? Come on.
Yeah, this is the same language. Like,
that's so funny.
But yeah, it was really cool to like, I don't know, just completely different everything. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be alone and like stuff. But it was really cool.
Good. Was it a drastic difference in the level of play in terms of soccer? Like, did it take you a little bit to adjust?
For sure, yeah. It was, I feel like more, it was just like the practices were long. I remember they were like 2 hours long, and it was
way different
like
from what you were used to then.
Yeah, like organized, just
with
really
our 30-minute practices.
Yeah. So it was just, it was different. Yeah, it was long, and like it was just like really quick pace and like small sided stuff, and then obviously you have to like go in like trying to like, you know, be a little different, like trying to get like, you know, not hide. So I remember, I was being really nervous, but it went well. I mean, it was good. Like it was better than I expected. I don't know. I was really stressed out before though. I was just like, I don't know, you know. Yeah, like this is now my job. So
yeah,
that's a lot of like new stuff in such a short period of time.
Yeah,
you had to like adjust, really.
Yeah.
And Barb's, for you, at what point did you start thinking about coming back to the US?
So I got there January, and I had a lot of national team stuff. So we had World Cup qualifiers for the U20 national team for Venezuela around I think March. So I was gone for like a month, and then like a month and a half. And then I had the full team Venezuelan World Cup qualifiers in July. So I was gone for another month. So that was like in like some camps in between that really kind of like, I was gone for a lot of the time of a year. So it was like kind of like hard to get in the rhythm of like the team and like the thing. And it's just like, I don't know. I just like I didn't feel like I was doing well there. And I was just like, it was frustrating because like I always felt like, you know, like I had control over, you know, my performance, and like I just felt like I lost control of like what I could do, and it was super frustrating. Like I know I can do it, I just like it's not happening.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was like kind of the first time I felt like that, and so it was like really hard to mentally like keep like motivating yourself, because it really just like it was tough. But and so I remember what time, like I think literally January of this year, so that let me go back. When I got there, we got I think semifinals of the playoffs, and then we lost, and then so we have it's 2 seasons in 1 year.
Okay.
So it's kind of cut in half. Instead of the NWSL just one full one.
Yeah.
It's 2 different ones. So we lost that, then went to the second season, which was kind of the season that I played a little more, kind of got more used to it, didn't have as much national team stuff, and did better. But then same thing, just felt like, I don't know, it wasn't clicking. It wasn't, I feel like I had no outside of the team, like relationships or friends. It was like difficult to also, like leave friends behind and stuff. And don't get me wrong, like I made great friendships with the team and teammates, and it was like beautiful city, but it was just kind of like, this is just mentally, I'm not playing. I don't have like an outside the team friend to like talk to, and
which makes a
so
big
like,
difference.
I was gonna
it
say
does make a difference, just mentally. Like it's just I need to like unwind from it. So then no, nothing. And then just talk to my agent, like, is there any other options that, because I just had renewed my contract for another year. But then he was like, yeah, I mean, I think Houston needs a midfielder. And then I was like, absolutely. Like, that's crazy that it's Houston.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely.
When you posted about that and Houston posted about that, I was like, what? Because I had heard no talk. I had heard nothing about it. And then the post came out. I was freaking out for you. Like, this is so exciting.
I know. It was so quick again, it was like a week that I had like to decide. And I was like, why does this keep happening? Like, but I'm like, it was a pretty easy decision though at that point.
I bet. Can you talk about that now? Like, do you feel like more comfortable and in your element now that you're closer to family, kind of back in an environment that you've known previously?
It's the full circle moment.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, definitely. I also think like the style of play there was just coming from like SEC, and coming from like that type of style of play was like so different, because there it's like not that physical. It's in like it's more like tactically it's not as organized, I feel like. So it was hard to go from that one to the other. But then coming here and just like when I came back and had the first week of practice, I felt more comfortable in, the style of it. Like, and obviously like having, friends like that came to like see my game recently and stuff. It's like, it's nice. It's nice to have that. So it's like.
And you're popping off. Let's just talk about that.
Thanks.
I'm like, I just see Barb scored a goal. Barb's gonna go. I'm like, okay, Barb.
Yeah.
She's just doing what she does.
Yeah, I scored my first one. Well, my only one. I've only scored one goal, but I scored against Chicago during a challenge cup, and that was so cool because then my parents were like right there, and it was cool. It was a cute thing.
That's so sweet.
It also felt good to like, I guess, have that first goal just out the way, because I'm in Mexico. I could not. I don't know what it was.
When you get the first goal, I feel like it just kind of leads you right into the other ones. It takes the nerves off. There's so much pressure to get that first one, and then it's like,
you're like, oh, I can do this. I know I can do. I knew I can do this before, but then you do it, and you're like,
exactly.
Yeah, I was right.
Exactly. You see, why did you doubt yourself? Like,
So, Barbs, did you feel like? I feel like you kind of said this just now. Did you feel like soccer at A&M helped prepare you more for NWSL than it did to go play international?
I think so. Like, yeah, definitely. Just because the style is it's similar. It's like, everyone, usually most NWSL players are coming straight from college. So it did help, and even with Mexico, like, I feel like it still helped too, like, kind of the way, Phil and G just pushed us to be, what we were. And it helped for sure. But I did feel like when I came to play here, it was like, okay, this is what I'm familiar with. Like, I tried the other one, it didn't work out, and then we're going back. So
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to try it. Yeah. I don't regret it at all either, because it was good to go through like that of like, okay, you got to do more, train more. Training wasn't enough, so you just do more and kind of perfect what you can, get better at your strength and stuff like that. So yeah.
Even though it was like a little bit different in Venezuela and Mexico, do you feel like you've taken any like pieces of their style of play that you now incorporate with the Houston Dash?
Totally. Yeah. 100%. Like, in Venezuela, it's a lot more technical, more like quick technical stuff. In Mexico, it was kind of the same vibe, like just more technical, moving quick with the ball. And now here, it's like I can kind of just mesh everything that I've kind of gathered. And yeah, but I love it here because NWSL lets you play. Like, in Mexico, it was like fouls all the time. I'm like, flopping everywhere. Like, I can't do this. I can't.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh. But Barbs,
So
I
it's so
feel
good.
like you've also always been the player who is very technical and quick. And so I can only imagine how working on that now for the past year before coming to the NWSL, how much that's probably even heightened. Like, you have been like that. And so now I'm like, why have I not been to a game? Time to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll get you tickets.
But okay. Everyone heard it here. So,
yeah, we got proof now. We got proof. You can go back.
Yeah.
I get to sit in the family seats. But I just really feel like I can only imagine how like heightened your talent, because you already had that incredible talent, how heightened that is now being at this level and having that experience where you are not only within teams that played that way, but also putting in that extra work to improve the areas you are already experted in,
Yeah. That's the biggest thing, that I learned there. Is just like, you gotta put double, because you're not gonna just come here and just play just because you are who you are. Like, you have to, work for what you want, and even if it doesn't work, like, eventually it'll pay off, and just keep kind of being consistent. So yeah.
Good.
Okay, Barb. Well, that kind of will segue us into our little closing. We always ask our guest that we have on if they could share a tagline or a quote that they resonate with, or you feel like they feel that they can apply to the journey that they've been on. Do you have one that you can share with us?
I do. I chose to do the hardest thing to do is work hard when no one is watching, just because that really has spoken to me, kind of always, but really, I really got out of that quote what I needed to when, I wasn't getting enough minutes, wasn't playing as much, wasn't doing as well as I thought I would, and just kind of like really relying on the consistency of just working out of practice to get better, and just letting you can't control everything. Some things are out of your control, but you can control how hard you work and how hard you discipline yourself outside of the field. So that's kind of what I would say. And not only in soccer, just in life, I feel like.
Good.
I love that.
I love it too.
Yes.
Okay, we have one more section for you before you leave.
The fun ones.
Part. Yeah, a little fun part.
And it's so fast.
Yeah, I know, it goes by. It goes by so fast.
It does. But it's been a good time. That's what they say is like, what is it? Time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely.
Okay, so for our little random question, I feel like we should have like a little thing, like rapid, like
a thing that pops up.
I agree.
Like a little music thing. I can be your background. Rapid questions.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay, ready?
Yeah,
First one, Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
That was
Ooh,
so
quick,
fast, very quick. She
Okay.
said it's rapid, so
Big fan.
It's
Right.
rapid. I'm here.
Okay, number 2, midfield or forward?
Midfield.
I knew you were gonna say that. I had a feeling you were gonna say that.
Midfield.
That's like your element. Like,
Yeah,
love
you
it.
get the best of both worlds in midfield.
Yeah, you do. You really do. You get the
Yeah.
goals, the assists, the pass.
Yes.
oh gosh.
Okay, Rick and Morty or Bob's Burgers?
Oh my gosh. Oh. Rick and Morty, just because I haven't finished Bob Burgers.
Okay. We last
Rick
night
and
when we
Morty.
were doing these,
Uh-huh.
Carl and I were like, we have to think of ones that are her personality. And then
Yeah,
Carl brought it up.
I know.
Spot on.
Yes.
Spot on.
Okay, Ellis Field or Shell Energy Stadium?
Ellis Field is where it all started. It's gotta be Ellis.
Aw,
Oh,
Gotta be
that
Ellis.
was really
cute.
cute. Barbs, when did you get all like
Soft
mushy?
on us. You got soft on us, Barb.
I
Hold
said
on.
ew.
Oh
Didn't
my
even think
gosh.
Last one, waffles or pancakes?
Waffles. Better texture.
The
The texture.
Way
waffles?
better texture.
The texture.
Like you don't like, cause yeah, that's true. Some pancakes can be like
Yeah.
soggy.
I don't
Yeah.
like soggy breads, and pancakes get soggier way faster. So I'm with you. Waffles.
And soggy French toast. We were talking about that.
Ew. When it doesn't have enough cinnamon or powdered sugar. Ugh, gross.
Just like
Gross.
you just toasted a loaf of bread. Like you can't just say it's French toast.
Yeah. That we were talking, Carl and I were like at so many hotels we would travel to for soccer.
Oh my god.
And the French toast was literally that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you
Or
just
the breakfast
toasted bread.
in general, and you're like eating granola bars.
Ew. It's so bad.
The eggs were just powdered and slimy.
Yeah.
And
I'm like eating
so
goldfish for
slimy.
pregame.
So slimy.
Oh.
Ew.
Okay, well, this has been a fun little Aggie
So
soccer reunion.
fun.
It really has been. And thanks again, Barb, for coming on with us and just giving us your time and just sharing your experiences with us. And you know, Allie and I always have faith in you and wishing you well and are always cheering you from the sidelines wherever you go. You've done so great. And we know that you're just going to have such a successful future. I'm sure that there's more boxes for you to check off.
From that
Maybe
little kid list.
Maybe a World Cup box.
Oh, that's the next
Coming
one. That's
soon.
Yes.
soon.
In the
Coming
works.
soon. Yeah, you heard me. You heard us say it here. So then when you make it, we'll put this up with it.
Yeah.
Okay, next to your little.
Deal.
No, I'm
Deal.
excited.
No,
Manifesting.
thank you guys
We're
for
manifesting.
having me.
Thank you for
Y'all
coming,
are the
Barbs.
best. I'm so happy to catch up with you guys and see that y'all are thriving. And yes, please let me know and I will get you tickets. So we can
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Aw,
People are going to be
well.
in the comment section like, can I have some?
No.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Okay,
All right. Well,
Barbs.
thanks again, Barb, and thank you everyone else that's listening and viewing. This has been another episode of Behind the Number, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and we will see you guys next time.